Hello everybody and welcome to another Nephilim Builds. It's Pride Month and we're celebrating by making various LGBTQIA+ characters in media because fuck the entire right wing. Today we're gonna shine like a star as LuminusRed. As always, keep in mind that these videos are about catching the spirit of the character rather than catching their abilities perfectly. With that said, let's address the obvious. So first and foremost, I have permission to do this, I asked.
Yes, Luna, you're more than welcome to make a video about me. You're go for it. You're good for it. I'm ready to... but yeah, Lumi, I don't think, now think of it, boobs!
Long dead historical figures are one thing, but for the living or recently dead, I need consent. But also, in case you didn't know, yeah, she's gay as fuck. Lumi's honestly taught me that I do not love women nearly enough. No poignant lesson here, just covering my own ass. Now with all that said, let's start with ability scores. Using the sand pointer, I put the 15 into intelligence. Lumi is a literally certified genius with a master's degree and an entire library's worth of nerd knowledge. Out of that's the 14 in constitution and the 13 in strength. Lumi is buff both in model and IRL, but if I'm being honest, getting hit by a car and the car takes more damage than you is much more impressive. Like, damn, I thought I could take a hit. We'll put the 12 into dexterity for AC and then the 10 to charisma. You love her, I love her, and yet somehow this woman is single. And if she can't get a girlfriend, then I have no hope. Although, let's be honest here, the only reason she's still single is because there's an entire ocean between her and Sweet Frequency. Then again, that one Russian lesbian didn't let that stop her, so, I don't know, skill issue. Lastly, we'll dump wisdom. She has maxed out ADHD, and if a woman's involved, she ain't passing that charm save. For species, Lumi is a literal star. Space is up, heaven is up, so we're going with Azamar. We'll get dark vision at 60 feet, celestial resistance, healing hands, and the light cantrip. We'll make a custom background where it increases into strength and intelligence. We'll take history and insight for political science, the tough feat, and carpenter supplies. In my experience, most lesbians are pretty handy with a hammer, but apparently Lumi's actually built houses. Moving on to class, we're going to start off as a fighter. We'll get strength and constitution saving throws, pick athletics and acrobatics for skills, and be proficient with all weapons, armor, and shields. At level 1, we'll get second wind, as well as weapon mastery and our fighting style. She apparently took fencing, so we'll go with the rapier and dueling. Thank you for whoever it was in chat that brought that up. Sadly, there's no real way I can think of to do a battle axe whip sword combo. We're now going to multi-class to wizard. I know you are all probably thinking bard, sorcerer, or maybe warlock with Cottontail as her dommy mommy, but as established, she's a nerd, so we're using the nerd spellcaster. At level 1, we'll get Ritual Adept and Arcane Recovery as well as 3 cantrips. Since she's a star, we'll be focusing on fire and radiant damage. So we'll take Firebolt, True Strike, and Prestidigitation for effects. We'll also get 4 spells taking Mage Armor for AC, Shield to block, Spellfire Flare, and Burning Hands. At level 2, we'll get Scholar, Expertise in History, as well as our Celestial Revelation. Fun fact, Lumi's model is partly inspired by Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, her favorite Dragon Ball transformation. So we'll be using Heavenly Wings for Super Saiyan. We'll also take Chromatic Orb. At level 3, we'll get our Arcane Tradition taking Blade Singer. We'll get Training in War and Song taking Performance for Improv, as well as Blade Song for Super Saiyan God. You might think this should be Kaioken, but you can't combine Kaioken with Super Saiyan, only Super Saiyan Blue. We'll also take Flaming Sphere to summon a mini star. At level 4, we'll take the Warcaster feat rounding intelligence. We'll also take Elementalism for more effects and take Scorching Ray for more fire. At level 5, we'll get Memorize Spell and take Fireball. We'll also take Feign Death to faint. I still can't decide if that's legit or a bit, and I think it's funnier if I don't know. At level 6, we'll get the Blade Singer extra attack and take Haste. This is an option for Kaioken. You're pushing your body past its limits, and you're lethargic after it wears off. Combine Heavenly Wing Super Saiyan, Blade Song Super Saiyan God, and Haste Kaioken, and you get Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. We'll get a couple more options later. Back to fighter, at level 2 we'll get Action Surge and Tactical Mind, and at level 3 we'll get our Martial Archetype. We're going to take Eldritch Knight getting War Bond and 2 cantrips. We'll take Blade Ward to fill the slot, and then Green Flame Blade for another weapon cantrip. Just pretend that it's blue. We'll also get 3 spells taking Longstrider for speed, Jump to jump good, and Expeditious Retreat to book it. At level 4 we'll cap our intelligence and take Featherfall because what is fall damage? At level 5 we'll get Tactical Shift, and level 6 we'll raise our constitution. At level 7 we'll get War Magic. Now buckle up, this is gonna be fun. Now we all know that in 5e, multiple sources of extra attack don't stack. This also applies to the Warlock's Thirsting Blade invocation. The only exceptions to this are the fighter features 2 extra attacks and 3 extra attacks. Presumably all of this carries over to 5.5, and presumably the Warlock's new Devouring Blade doesn't stack with 2 extra attacks. Now, both the original and reprinted Bladesinger give you a special version of extra attack with an added perk. When you take the attack action, you can swap one of your weapon attacks with a cantrip. In base 5e, it was the only feature that did this. But now in 5.5, the College of Valor Bard has the same extra attack. Of course, there's some debate on if this perk should stack if you get both versions of this extra attack. Admittedly, 2 cantrips for the price of 1 action is pretty strong. But consider this, War Magic gives the exact same perk without being a form of extra attack. Which means we absolutely can cast 2 cantrips for 1 action, and we're doing it without splitting our spellcasting between 2 modifiers. So yeah, if your player wants to multiclass Bladesinger and Valor Bard, let them double up on cantrips, it's more fun that way. Anyway, we'll also take Arcane Vigor for some heals. Back to Wizard at level 7 we'll take Spellfire Storm, and at level 8 we'll raise Constitution again. I can't stress this enough, Lumi got hit by a car and was fine. The car was totaled. This woman is the world's hottest brick. We'll also take Fire Shield to take the fire option. At level 9 we'll take Jalarzi's Storm of Radiance and Steel Wind Strike. I don't think Lumi will object to getting the anime Nothing Personnel attack. At level 10 we'll get Song of Defense and take Mage Hand. I'm sure she can find something to do with that. We'll also draw a blank. At level 11 we'll take Sunbeam for a Kamehameha and swap our blank for Tensa's Transformation. This is a higher multiplier Kaioken for more damage and a bigger backlash when it ends. Only downside is we can't cast spells when it's up. This means we'll be getting more base damage with our weapon attacks, but we will be losing the extra damage of True Strike or Green Flame Blade. Alternatively, you could take Tasha's Otherworldly Guise, which is what I usually go for, and use Inner Radiance for your Celestial Revelation instead of Heavenly Wings. Not as much weapon damage, but you can still cast spells with it. Lastly, at Fighter and Wizard levels 8 and 12 we'll take the Boons of Fortitude and Exquisite Radiance Overclocking Intelligence. We'll also take Enhance Ability for Super Muscle Mommy feats. Now that we're level 20, we finally have our modifiers. Our AC with Mage Armor is 14, which goes up to 20 with Blade Song and 25 with Shield. Our movement speed is 30, and our average HP is 260 with 8d10 and 12d6 hit dice. And with that, we are done. Now what can this build do? To start, we have a metric crap ton of AC and HP with some serious damage reductions from Song of Defense. Seriously, a car picked a fight with her and lost. I just can't get over that. We're also blasting away with an overclocked spell modifier, which we're also using for our melee attacks. And since Fire Shield doesn't require concentration, we don't lose it if we cast it before using Tensor's Transformation, which means we can stack Heavenly Wings, Blade Song, Fire Shield, and Tensors to go even further beyond Super Saiyan Blue. Where's Super Duper Saiyan Blue? The weakness is having True Strike and Green Flame Blade is pretty redundant. True Strike is still useful in that it lets us use our intelligence for weapon attacks without Blade Song, and radiant damage is far less resisted, but for most situations Green Flame Blade is just better. It also takes 4 turns to get all our buffs up, and we lose one of them if we want to concentrate on one of our continuous AoEs. We also dumped arguably the worst score in the game to dump. Goddess help you if the party gets attacked by a succubus because Lumi's folding immediately. Weaknesses aside, we're the star everyone can't stop talking about. Or want to stop talking, I forget which. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to support my channel, there's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Patrons get 2-day early access to my videos and access to exclusive content. All tiers are equal, pay as much as you want. And if Lumi does end up seeing this, thank you. You helped me through a rough point recently, and you've inspired me to keep going and to reach even further for things that I'm still not entirely sure are possible for me. And for that, you are my Oshi, and I can never thank you enough. Now, let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments, and I'll see you all next time when I make Sasunaru from Naruto.